Sweet. Here we go. Oh, started off right. What is up, peoples of YouTube? I'm Motorcycle Mick, and today we are talking about Harley-Davidson's brand new motorcycle, which may not seem brand new at all. Before I get too far into this live stream, if you are new to the channel, watching for a very long time, hit the subscribe button down below. And somehow I don't know how to blur this shit. What's up, D's? Oh, it's been a week. It really has. Oh, what's up, Patrick? You know, actually, I feel good because I'm back to making like regular content, but I feel like I can put more effort into it, more time, and I like to be able to see how people react to the videos and what people talk about. But we have. I know. I've been watching it. There's a lot. I didn't realize there's like 40-something comments on it, which is really about the topic we're talking about today, which is I want to know what you guys think of Harley's new bike. And honestly, like what your opinion is on it, because I mean, honestly, I don't think it's anything special. I do not think that the new Softail Standard is any special version of the motorcycle. It's just a dumbed down street bob. And you know what's funny? Okay, so for those that are watching, you may have noticed something might have been up with that video, but if I tell you now, you're going to go back and watch and be like, well, what the hell? Well, what's up, Sacrificial Rook? But if you go back and look at the video, I kept saying street bob for some reason. So I had to go back and keep saying, I had to, like, I said street bob once and I had to keep, and I kept saying fat bob. So I had to go back and cut it together. So that was a fun day for me of going back through it. Every time I said street bob or street, or fat bob, I had to go cut it in street bob. Also, it feels good to be back on camera after, I've had some live streams, but well, I mean, and that's what it is. So one demifo, am I saying that right? If I say it wrong, just like correct me. Be like, you're a dumbass. Tell me I'm a dumbass and correct me. I'm down with that. I'm that kind of person. But yeah, I mean, it's an $800 difference, honestly, from a Softail Standard to a street bob. It's $1,000 difference, or not even $1,000. It's like $800 difference. So I don't understand why people are going to want to pay for something that's already dumbed down. And if I'm making a club bike and I want to customize it, I already want that blackout look on the bike. So I'm not really going to spend the money on, some doo-doo. Something that people are going to waste their money on. And honestly, if you are going to do that, the $1,000 you're going to spend extra, you're going to be spending like 3 or 4 times that to replace all the chrome that's on that bike, including handlebars, forks, exhaust heat shields, top of the motor, bottom of the motor, primary covers. Oh. Yeah, so the street bob does offer the 5 colors versus the Softail Standard's 1, which is dumb. Like, why would you offer 1 color in a motorcycle? I know it's like, it's their standard model, but honestly, if they would have called it a street bob standard, I've been like, man, that's cool. Where they kind of got like a standard bike for a version of a street bob. It is. So D, as you saw that, like in the beginning of the video, and I did it in the video, is I was clicking back and forth between the two video, or like the 2 screens I had up, and honestly, props if you put your GoPro in linear. But it is, I mean, okay, so Patrick, you're right. It is a leftover type bike. I mean, it's not, it's always been like a bigger Sportster. It's kind of what the deal was, where you could go from a Sportster to like a street bob and kind of have that easy step up. But Harley's going off the name anymore nowadays. They're not going off anything special. They're not creating unique bikes. And the ones that are, like people like Matt Laidlaw that are creating motorcycles out of the ones that Harley gives. Like they just created that Matt Laidlaw just created that touring oriented Lowrider S, which is really cool. I don't know if you haven't checked that out. Go look at Matt Laidlaw's touring oriented Lowrider S, because they are all in general Softails. The suspension on the front of the Lowrider is a lot better, and there's added benefits. So apparently the Softail, actually my bike, the Heritage Softail, is now a touring model on Harley's website. Go check that out. And that was brought up by John Maxwell. But I don't know. I don't know what Harley's thinking. I don't know what the deal is, but yeah. What do you guys think of the new Softail standard? What is everyone's opinions on the new? I see 5 people watching right now currently. What is everyone's opinions on that? 1 second. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. And I think the biggest thing that messes me up about the Softail standard too is the way they did it. Is they released something like that as their mid-year, and I don't think that was the best move. Just for the fact of it's not anything special. Like they unleashed, the Fat Bob 30 year, which Dee's made a good video on that. Go check that out. The blacked out, sorry. Wow. It's been a long day. Fat Boy. Dee's made a good video about the new Fat Boy. It's a 30-year Fat Boy. Go check that out. They had a couple paint jobs for the Road Glide and the Softail Standard, which honestly, people were pissed off about my Heritage being blacked out. So you got the Fat Boy coming out all blacked out. People are going to be upset about that because most of the people looking at these bikes are just old dudes. Like for me, I love a blackout bike. I love a bike that is blacked out. But yeah, we'll see what they do. Yeah, also figuring out linear on a GoPro makes everything like. Cause I love filming on my GoPro Hero 8. That's a new one I use. But that last video I filmed, instead of doing the wide angle, I did linear, and it looked really nice. I also went on a science mission, which I will share with the Support MVC place later. But I did some science and did some math, and I figured out some solutions to stuff. But I see right now I currently have 4 people watching, so yeah. What do you guys think of the Softail standard? What do you guys think the direction with it is, and what Harley's direction with the Softail standard will be? So a lot prouder. It's like that camera. And what's that? I'd love to hear that. So Sacrificial Rook said, I can think of 2 ways a mid-year release makes sense. As a mid-year release, what? I'm actually messing with the build bike right now. So yes, Patrick, I am actually messing with the build bike. It's gotta get a new battery though. I need to get a new battery for it, but yeah. I got this stuff too to clean the tank on it. So I'm de-rusting the tank currently. No more rusty tank. It's getting painted. Which I will say, the Memphis shades fairing on the Sportster right now with that headlight looks really mean. But yeah, so I'm right now. I'm currently waiting for. Yeah. I need to get a new motivation. Honestly, man, like my motivation became working out and just kind of like bettering myself before I got out of hand. I mean, I've I don't know. I've faced some rough times and I've gotten past them, but I don't want other people to think that they're out there alone in this. So, but yeah, so Sacrificial Work said one of the reasons that it makes sense to use this mid-year release, they have a ton of leftover parts and accessories they need to move out of inventory now. Oh wait. You do calm down. All right, kids over here fighting. Yeah, finding motivation. I mean, especially where we live, you're in Ohio, I'm in Michigan. Finding motivation in the winter months is hard. I will say that right now. Like, it's not an easy task finding stuff to keep you busy, and it's not easy. Considering the option packages, this may be a warm up to upcoming consolidation of random hot models. See, I don't think it is though. I mean, there's 4 iconic Softails that are not going to change across the line. All right, and that is the Heritage Softail. That's going to be one that's going to be there forever. For any form of the lowrider S, that's going to stay. The Fat Boy, and I know it's a tough one, but Street Bob and Fat Bob, they're going to be two of the. I guess both of them. I guess say 5, but they're not going to really change it because Harley's one step behind. Their whole club theory and all that kind of thing that they want to play with isn't there. I mean, the whole club design for motorcycles, people aren't doing it anymore. People are wanting to kind of stunt their bikes, so they're going like with the MX bars. They're not going with the high T bars. They're not going with the ape hangers. So they can't really. You're marketing a $13,000 bike, for a Harley, which for honestly is a good price, but most people really also forget about the Softail Slim S, and that is still a thing. And if I remember correctly, yeah. So Harley's 2020 Softail Slim. So that's really a bike you can customize. It's going good right now. I'm working on it currently. So I kind of got a little messed up because we got a surprise blizzard. So for those that aren't in Michigan, it looks like that outside again right now. So the work I was doing on the Sportster kind of held off because I work on it right now. I don't have a barn for it to work in. So I have my little carport I work under. But yeah, so like that. The 2020 Softail Slim S is it's 15 grand. So 14,999. So that's where the big issue of why justify buying like that when you could buy a Softail Slim. Yeah, I got snow. I got fucked. But yeah, so I mean, going back to what you were saying though, is Really the entrance bike they should be pushing is the Softail Slim, because that's the bike you can really build into anything, and that's kind of what's cool about it. The downside of the Softail Slim is it's still got the damn spokes. Well, like the Softail Slim, I mean, in my mind, wow, just focus. I don't know. I think the Softail Slim is probably one of the best bikes to start customizing if you're going to build a bike. Because in reality, I mean, it's which way you look at a way you want to build a bike. All right. You have the two mindsets. You have a touring mindset or around town, and then you got like the stunting and like the bar hopper type. And I guess the two, like if you're gonna go either way, like if you're looking for the entry level bike in like a touring or a cruiser model, you're gonna want to go with like the Slim S or the Softail Slim. If you're going for like that bar hopper club style and all that kind of stuff, you're gonna want to go with the Street Bob. Easiest way to say it. And honestly, I love my Heritage, but there's a lot more customization that like the thought process and builds quality and stuff you can do with like a Street Bob. I'm also trying to find tires or tires. I'm trying to find wheels for my bike. So if anyone has any heads up on Harley wheels or where to find them, like for a decent price, let me know. Just because I want to be able to build or put different tires and wheels on the Heritage, because like I said, I'm dealing with a rust issue, and I'm just losing my mind right now. I got rusty spokes, and some Todd commented on my video saying like, yeah, you can just clean them, but it's not the point. I had rust on my spokes a year after I got the bike, and that's not supposed to, I mean, that's not right. Especially for a bike that costs as much as a Harley does. And Harley-Davidson won't do anything about it. They're like, here, you buy the bike, it's a lot of money, and it's not our problem. But yeah, so the 48s. Well, I know you can't. No, I'm spraying the Sportster tank with this rust. It's a Rust-Oleum rust remover. Then you just pressure wash it, and the rust comes off, and then sand and prime and paint. Well, that's gonna be it for a video. I just, like I said, when you work on a bike outside and you get snow like this, it really messes you up. But honestly, chrome should not rust. And Harley's part, I mean, like, you market a bike as what it is and the expensive amount of what it costs. Why is it so far out there? Where is this? So, way too cool to paint. Oh, yeah. I know it's too cold to paint, but that's one of the key features. Where is this? Oh, it's Milwaukee. Milwaukee. I might have to go to Milwaukee. They have a show coming up. But yeah, they're gonna go with red on the tank for the Sportster build. But we'll I don't know. I'm still looking at ideas for that. And I'm still trying to, yeah. Now live on my channel. Top chat says 0. What is this top chat? What is this? What is this shenanigans? What did I do? Nailed it. This is nothing. Yeah, I have times I gotta go through everything. I don't know. I really sequestered myself from social media for a hot second. And the reason being is I need to like make myself better. And one way to do that is to stop trying to worry about everything else that's going on and really focus on what you can do to create. And I've worked very hard, and Krispy Kreme is trying to get me to freaking eat donuts. But yeah, I mean, where does it start? Where does it end? Live has top chat written below. What? That's a thing. Science. Oh man, what a week! Honestly, I'm ready for snow to be gone. I'm tired of this. I want to go enjoy riding my bike. I want to work on my bikes. So for all you that ride that are watching this right now, since I have 4 people watching, uh, what kind of tires do you like running on your bike? Is it like Metzler's? Is it Dunlops? Is it Michelin's? Because I am looking at also new tires for my bike, and Shinko's seem to be the number 1 option for me. Which I wish they had red walls. Shinko Stealth Drag here. Messengers. Sorry I'm late. So what tires? Like so I have a very specific tire I'm looking for. Way down. I'm broken. I'm just literally breaking my life. Okay, so well, I mean, so the 777 they have like a multi-ply one on there, and it's good. It's like a more of a touring tire for the 777s, where it's like a harder material where it's not gonna wear out. But yeah, I mean the thing is like I drag race my bike too, so I want that grip. And the Dunlop deal. So the tires that they put on my motorcycle, and I don't know if you guys like would want something out like this, or like a video out about this, but the Dunlop tires they put on my bike are called D401Ts. So it's a touring tire, but it was a new tire that Harley worked with Dunlop, and Dunlop made a brand new tire for Harley. And a lot of guys are having problems with it because it slips everywhere. I mean, Gears and Gadgets had the problem. John Maxwell's had the problem. Like I've had the problem, and it's slippery on any surface that's not dry. And I think that's the problem I'm running into is I lose traction sometimes where I get nervous because it's not sticking. Just give me a sign and I'll but yeah, so it's so if you before we go to our so I have 8,500 miles on my tires right now, and they're very stiff, and like it's like normally when you have a tire, if it's kind of slippery, it'll have a break-in period where you're just kind of getting that first layer off, and then it starts to stick. And the ones I have now just really never got that stick to them. They just I don't know how to explain it, but they aren't doing very well. And I want to get different tires on the bike so that I can have that nice stick to it. And I do really like the Michelin. What are the ones that are on my Sportster? It's a 31. The Scorchers, Michelin Scorchers. They seem to work very well, and that's something I might go with. And also, Isaac, go do your damn homework. But yeah, I mean, I've had them for. See, I'm not willing. Like, if I can get the same tire for a better price, I'm not the kind of person that's going to pay for a logo on my tire. Honestly, like I can get a brand new set of tires for that bike for what? Well, so I dropped 2 psi on my tires, especially when I'm at the strip. But I dropped 2 psi on them to run them a little bit better, and they're very hard. I mean, you can tell they're a touring tire and they're made for long straight distances down a road. And I'm sure under that condition they'd be great. But if you want to do any kind of cornering, any kind of maneuvering, it's really difficult to keep them to do what you want them to. Well, that's the thing though, is so the Dunlops that are on my bike, the D401Ts, from what I've discovered, is you can get them through Harley with the Harley because it's a tire made specifically for Harleys. They brought it out for my bike, but they aren't. It is a touring tire. Did you see the Fortnite beta? I did. I can't remember. Was I think I watched that like a week ago. Honestly, I'm just drawing a blank right now. I'll have to rewatch it. OEM tires, it depends on the bike, but Harley's, it's always like you're gonna get a touring tire with your touring Harley, and if you don't, I mean, to my shock, Like Harley-Davidson did move the Heritage over to a touring model, which threw me off because, I mean, let's see if I can go over to Harley's website and see if they still have it there. It was very low key. Like motorcycles, touring. Yeah, look at that right there. Wow. Focus. All right. Yeah, I'll have to look at those. The Shinko. Yeah, the Heritage isn't going away though, man. They're not going to get rid of that bike because A, it's one of the most iconic Softails, and B, it's a touring model that's not ridiculous. Like I have a 114 cubic inch motor. It's like a, if they want to say so if they want to call the Challenger a tour, what do you want to call it? Wow, I hate this. The fact that I'm drawing a blank. A muscle cruiser or a muscle touring model, whatever you want to call it. I would call that the Heritage, and I think that's a reason they kind of secretly moved it over there because the Challenger is a great bike, and I wrote it. I have a video up that's going to come out next Tuesday for it. It's an amazing bike. But with the Heritage, like the cornering and everything, the way my bike acts, and having 3 bikes in one, because honestly, I could take my bags off, leave the windshield. I could take the windshield off, leave the bags. I could take everything off and just have like a Softail Slim. It's kind of a ninja move. But my Scorchers I have currently on my 48 actually seem like they stick pretty well. But yeah, I mean, it would be very difficult for them to remove the Heritage. I think they made a mistake when they tried to add the chrome back as like another option for it. But they made their little planned but Shingo sell drag radials. Well, now I gotta. Yeah, they just secretly slipped that into the touring. That's interesting, though. Shinko Stealth Drag Radio. No, so Brent, are those from what? Your boyfriend? Not that that's wrong, but ooh, those look mean. How does that drag radio work, though? And D's over here, it's Chrome gets dome. Chrome gets a huge hole in your wallet. Okay, so I can actually answer that sacrificial rook, why the Sport Glide didn't move. And the reason they couldn't move Sport Glides is because A, they gave it a 107, which with that comes a lot of issues. If you're going to call it a Sport Glide, you got to give it some power. And had they given it a 114, which may be something we see later on. But that's the problem, is it only came with a 107. Because a Sport Glide is not a touring bike. It's like a bar hopper with saddlebags. Not even saddlebags, because it's got the clamshells. But the reason the Heritage moved over the touring line is because it's the size of it and the way it is. There's the only difference between the size of the bikes and the wheelbase is honestly 1 inch of clearance. I've done a lot of research on that because when I was looking at getting my bike, I had the choice between a Road King Special, which at the time was 2018, had a 107 in it, or I had my 114 Heritage that I currently have. And it's not going to move. It's the same size. It's got full-size bags on it. It's got the hard bags. It's got the windshield. It's got everything to be a touring motorcycle. The Sport Glide has a little detachable, like, I don't even know what to call that little fairing. It's like a little cafe fairing-ish thing. It looks like a Batwing, but it's tiny. It's like a tricycle Batwing. So you put the thing on a tricycle, you got a Batwing fairing, but it's not a touring model. The Sport Glide is not intended for touring because, like with my Heritage, I can buy a tour pack for it. I can put a tour pack on my Heritage. They make it for the bike through Harley, so I can have everything on there. I've got hard lowers on my Heritage. I've got everything I need to be a touring model. You can't do that on any of the other Softails. I mean, you might be able to certain ones, I guess, like with the Softail Slim, which wouldn't be a bad bike, but I never thought about that, Wind Reaper. That's so well. Welcome, Wind Reaper, and real quick to shout out to everyone that's here. We have Dirty D's, The Norseman, Brent Bartram, Patrick Hattrick, Sacrificial Rook, Wind Reaper, and I know there was other people up here. One Demifo. But yeah, I mean, I think Harley has to make that move. Harley definitely needs to create a monoshock on the rear suspension. Like I said, I rode the Challenger, and if Harley is going to keep a game with them, they've got to step it up and get like the way that bike handles around corners is just beyond ridiculous, especially for the size of it, especially for what it is. Well, so Dwayne, I do agree with you, but I also know that we can put touring packs on our bikes, like touring packs. We can put a tour pack on our bike that actually is intended for a touring model. My hard lowers are from touring models. My windshield could go on a Road King. I mean, I think it's not interchangeable to the super extensive point, but I think what they're trying to do with it is market it as a better priced, full, ready to go touring model. Because they might, I mean, honestly, I could see them phasing out the Road King for the Heritage and maybe turning the Heritage back into a full touring model. I mean, I think I see the Heritage as a full touring model. But yeah, I mean, but then look at the Heritage. Look at all the Softail models. Look at the suspension travel they have on theirs. Like, that's the added benefit of a Softail is that monoshock, you get a lot more travel. And it's like my favorite thing about having that monoshock and the way any Softail rides is if you have like the 114 or Milwaukee 8, specifically for me, my 114, when I hit the throttle, I can feel the back of the bike sit down. It's really cool. But also too is it is. I mean, I agree with you guys on that. It is inexcusable for that to have that kind of travel. But Harley's, like, the problem with Harley is they're not creating a muscle bike like the Challenger is. What they're doing is creating a bike that you can ride for hours. And the reason Harley will succeed over Indian for now is because of availability of parts. I can ride a Harley across the United States and always be within a certain distance of a place where I can get my Harley parts for my bike if anything does happen or warranty issues or damage to the bike. But the problem we run into is that they don't have that for Indian. They don't have that for really Polaris right now for their brand, where it's very universal across the board. And even... See, well, okay, so the way I look at this is if you buy a Mustang, right? And then you buy a Shelby Mustang, you're buying, when you pay that $50,000 for that car or $60,000 for that car, you're getting a hell of a lot more upgrades in performance today, if you buy a CVO Harley, which it's just about the same price as a Mustang Shelby or Shelby Mustang, you're not really getting that much upgrade over like a regular like a Road Glide to a Road Glide CVO or a Street Glide CVO to a regular Street Glide. You're not getting really much in upgrades, and I don't see it as $30,000 or $25,000 worth of upgrades, especially when you can get a 117 kit, which is what they're running on them now, for the same price. Actually a lot less. Like what, you get a 117 kit put on for $4,000 from the dealer, and you're already, I don't know. But yeah, I honestly, Harley's got to step it up, and Harley's very protective of their brand, and they don't allow anybody to be really critical of it. And that's where we run into the issues of what Harley is doing. Harley will not sponsor people except for like, I guess, like their flat track racers, anything like that. They will not put any backing behind anyone, but they will quietly shut people up. I know that sounds terrible, but Harley will do that because I remember back when I first started watching, one of my favorite moto vloggers, it was Shade Tree Surgeon. Like when I started watching him, man, he would just roast Harley and the guys that rode Harleys and everything. Like he would roast them. And then like today, recently gets slipped a Road Glide, or not Road Glide, sorry, a Road King. And it's like, what do we do with that? Like Harley's willing to bite people out quietly, but also not willing to sit there and be like, yeah, man, we'll sponsor this guy, good or bad, because they have to realize that today's world is all about social media, and Harley has hired companies that can make a good video. I mean, Gears and Gadgets pointed out one the other day, or not the other day, it was a little bit ago, but it was called the Breathe. It's an ad from Harley called Breathe. And it was from a company that wasn't Harley that created the ad to try and target millennials and people new to riding or people that don't have Harleys. And it was a good ad. I will say it's a good commercial. But Harley doesn't, like, they don't have that sponsor. Like, they don't go for sponsorships. They don't go for anything like that where they're like, hey, work with us and we'll take care of you. Not that Harley really wants that, but my problem I run into is, how do you have a company that's so out of touch with the younger generation that all they care about is like bringing out their next big bike? And they put out like, so with that new Softailstandard, they brought up the whole mindset of the guy, and he's talking about, he's like, oh, I'm chief engineer of this project, blah, blah, blah. And it seemed like a really good guy, and like his thought process behind the bike was good, where they had the Softailstandard twice before, and then they brought it back. But it still looks like just a chrome street bike, or a treated metal, whatever we want to call it. I mean, I know plenty of those, Pat. So Patrick said I like Harleys that are borderline straight drag bikes on the edge of not street legal. Or he put lol, but I'll laugh out loud. But honestly, I know some bikes like that. I mean, if you've ridden a 114 Softail, you'll know it's fun. But just Harley doesn't have that. Like, that's the thing, though, is Harley doesn't have that. So Sacrificial said 2 words, corporate inertia. Harley doesn't have that, though. Harley's been facing a lot of issues lately, and they don't want. It's like they're pretending that. Wind Reaper, looking forward to the blacked out Softailstandard special. Oh, that is. Oh wait, Softailstandard special. The Street Bob has a new name. they're really looking at Harley's sales numbers and the way Harley is, like they're not being the best anymore. Like people aren't gonna buy it by name. And the downside of them actually not releasing the Pan America and the Bronx as like a mid-year release is the fact that they are not going to have that out for riding season. Because if they're going to do a late season release or a late release or the new release for 2021, that's not going to come out until like August. We're not going to see the Pan America or the Bronx until August. Softailstandard iron. Now, it wouldn't be iron, though, because iron is for Sportsters blacked out. The special editions of Softails and the touring models is the blackout ones. But yeah, I mean, we live in a time where Harley needs to really take a jump on social media. Like, here's the problem, okay? Is I did some work with a dealership, and I tried to give like an upload schedule. Because right now I'm at 926 subscribers. All right, and I've been doing this about a year. So hopefully I can hit 1,000 soon. But the issue I'm running into is I should not have, 900 more subscribers than a Harley dealership on their YouTube. And then most of the ones dealerships are going to put out, like, so Matt Laidlaw actually does it really cool. Moonshine Harley does it really cool. John Maxwell does it good for Chattahoochee. They know how to handle themselves when they're making YouTube content. But Iron has better brand recognition. That's debatable. But yeah, I mean, I feel like there's 3 Harley dealers that know how to make content for YouTube and try to get people to draw people in to be able to watch it. But there's a lot of people that aren't, buying into it. You don't have that whole back in the day, what's that? What 2000s, late 90s? There was like the lottery to get a Harley, and they're not. Then that necessity to get a Harley isn't there anymore. It's not just a blue collar bike, because that's what always was every man's bike. But it's not the same anymore when you try to charge so much for a bike. And like me, the problem I ran into now is, I was actually looking at a Challenger, but my Heritage has lost $10,000 in value in 2 years. Like, how do you justify that? How do you look at a customer and be like, you know what? You're going to devalue half of your motorcycle in 2 years. Like, don't get me wrong. There's always depreciation when it comes to buying something new. When it comes to buying anything, you're going to have depreciation. But the biggest issue is why so much? Just by taking something new off the lot, it loses value. As dumb as it is, it is. I mean, the bike's still a good bike, but or car or whatever you're driving off the lot, it loses value. Oh, yeah. I mean, especially with that. So when Reaper said the 83 days are numbered, actually, with the entire Evolution line is going bye-bye sooner than later. And you're right, because they do have the Pan America, the Bronx with the new motor. They got the custom. So it's like a Sportster custom, and it's got the new motor in it. It's got the new 975 in it, or does it have the 1230? It's got one of the new ones. It probably has both, but I don't know. And so sacrificial work. Did you get hit with the price cut just like the FXDR guys did? I don't know. I don't know what caused a Heritage to depreciate so much in 2 years. To what caused that? And I think probably what it was is everyone was butthurt about the blackout on the bike versus actually looking at the performance and perspective of it. because Harley was moving forward and they were creating new things and creating something for a more modern look, something people are going to want. And when they don't do that, well, then we run into the issue of what Harley's dealing with now, and that's trying to get new guys to buy people to buy bikes. And with the price cuts and with devaluation the way it is, I don't understand. Like, if I knew my bike was going to devalue 10 grand in 2 years, I wouldn't have bought it. You know, you buy that Harley Davidson with the expectation that it's going to hold its value, and it didn't, and it tanked. Like, do you know what it's like to be that much upside down? Like, because I financed my bike. It's just a way to do it. Helps build credit and other things, but you know, to be upside down on a bike like that after 2 years, you know, you expect like, hey, you know, if I sell it now, I'll take a little bit of a loss and still have it to be able to pay it off. But like, what's the point? You know, $12,000 for my bike, or $12,000 to $15,000 for my Heritage. Like, I don't know what the deal with that is. And the problem is the FXDR suffered the same fate as the V-Rod, and that's because all the old guys don't have the vision of what that bike can be. An FXDR is a mean, fun bike, and they're fast and fun. And the way they're designed is to have traction and be able to ride in a cool way. But the fate of just like the V-Rod itself was that Harley just really didn't push it and didn't really market it right. It seems to be out of touch. Like, every bike time that Harley brings out something like that, where it's going to be a replacement. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see like a V-Rod come back with a Milwaukee 8 in it. Even though that Porsche motor in that bike is stupid. For my Heritage, yes. And that's why I said, like, I mean, I pay more on it than I have to just to get it paid off quicker. But the issue is of how you get upside down so fast. On your point, all the release of the Softailstandard did was pique my interest in the older Softails. I mean, yeah. I will say there is nothing that can touch the suspension of the new Softails that anything that Harley's ever made. The Softail suspension is way better, but it's, you know, I don't know how they looked at it and how they thought it would work out, but people aren't buying Harleys like they used to. And honestly, if I bought it, like, I would have waited 2 years to get a Heritage Softail now and paid way less for it. But now it's like being upside down in a loan like that from Harley-Davidson. Wind Reaper, my first upgrade on a Softailstandard would be to black it out. Or you could just buy a Street Bob. I don't get where Harley's going. I don't know what path, and I can't follow their logic of what they think is going to happen. But what I do know is that they're tempting fate right now, because first off, Harley has not brought out a CVO Softail, and I guess the FXDR could be considered like a CVO maybe. But they have not brought out a CVO Softail, which they desperately need, because the CVO Softail would be badass, and they could do some really cool stuff with it. Even if it was like a Lowrider S CVO or something like that. Harley could do it. Harley needs to bring out a CVO Softail, and I think the reason they're growing the Softail line is because it's an easier lineup to sell to a crowd of my age than it is for selling a touring model, because the same reason I bought a Heritage is because I wanted a touring bike, but I also didn't want the freaking I didn't need all the fairing and all that shit. I got some speakers on my bike. Sacrificial Rook. I don't think Harley gets what Harley is doing. They don't. And I know I'm just some little peon on YouTube making videos about the company, but you know, someone's like, well, I mean, any PR for them is good PR, but it's like, not really, because if you got people my age being like, you know, what the hell are you doing? You're going to have other people my age saying, what the hell are you doing? Because you have to build your base up for that bikes, you know, the bikes. You know, if Harley let's say Harley approached me and they're like, hey, you know, we'll trade you a brand new Bronx for your Sportster. You ride around on camera and tell us how you like it. You know, I'd do it. Just because I think it's a cool bike, but they got to figure out if it's still. So Patrick Hattrick asked if it's still under warranty, like my bike is still under warranty. Why would they take care of the wheel issue? Because Harley has taken a hands-off approach and says that in their warranty, corrosion is not covered. So any form of rusting on your bike, even though it's within warranty, is not covered under warranty. Which I feel like that falls under craftsmanship, but they just, it isn't. It's not reassuring. That's the problem, is when I have a spoked wheel, and there's a big issue with spoked wheels. If you can stay away from them, do it. Because A, they're a lot of work, and B, like, I did not get told when I bought my bike that you're like, oh, you gotta, like, because I'm thinking like it's 2018, they're gonna have spokes on this bike that are corrosion resistant or corrosion proof, not gonna rust. They're stainless or like real chrome, which I figured they were stainless, but they weren't. And they started rusting. And I don't get that. I don't understand how you have brand new tires or brand new wheels that start rusting, especially spoked wheels are a bitch. To put it in perspective, if I were to replace my wheels right now, they're $350 a piece. So I mean, at $350 a piece for my wheels for my bike, like that's another $700. I'd have to pay to Harley-Davidson just so they could fuck me out of it. Being like, you know, here's $700 just for the rims, and then we have to install them for you. And it's like, if I'm going to take my bike, it is. Premature corrosion is a craftsmanship or workmanship issue, but Harley takes a handoff approach to it. Because if I had like a fucking 20-year-old Harley, I'm like, hey, I got rust on this, I'd be like, okay, you know, it's 20 years old. But like, I bought my bike brand new in 2018 off the showroom floor, and it's got rust. Like, it looks bad now. Like, I will say right now, I have not looked at my wheel and been like, damn. And honestly, I'm just going to probably end up spraying them with the shit and then pressure washing them, hopefully to try and get that rust off. And I got some scratch-proof scrubbies, and I got to do some more work on that. But, like, I'm going to hopefully get some new tires, and when I get new tires, I'll see if I can get the rims off and do that and get them cleaned up. I just got to get my bike on a hoist. But, I mean, seriously, though, how the hell do you have a bike that's 2 years old, that's lost all that value, has rust on the spokes? Like, what the fuck is Harley doing? I don't understand how they sit there and on their high horse like they make the world's best motorcycle, and they don't. And they don't listen to anyone. You could bitch all you want about Harley, and they're just like, well, I mean, so, like, I had, like, on my video, I had someone comment, I think their name was Harley Camper. Harley Camper commented on my video saying, you have to clean the spokes or scrub the spokes or derust the spokes, dumbass. And then, like, try to make it sound like it was my fault that it's corroding. Let me just strip that Chinese chrome off too. No, but that's the problem, is I'm sitting here trying to figure out how the fuck I'm supposed to get this correct. And what's going to end up happening is I'm going to take my wheels off. I'm going to take off the tires. I'm going to pull the strip off there. I'm going to put new nipples on there that they're anodized. They're going to be red and coated. I'm gonna get black spokes for the bike and fucking rock it. Well, that's the thing is like, so Patrick says the bike was not stored properly before he sold it, and would be my guess. So my Heritage, I actually it gets stored outside, but I have a full cover on it. Like it's one of those winterized super covers that covers everything on the bike. Like it is its own little condom. So I clean the bike, cover it, put it away for the season. Like everything's all ready to go to protect it, and yeah. And then Dwayne's said it's like a Ford rust through is covered under warranty, but aluminum doesn't rust; it just oxidizes and corrodes. And that's the problem, though. Is you know why is it not covered under Harley's warranty? Why is Harley taking such a hands-off approach to the way the bike looks? And I mean, I really want to put out my Challenger video, but I feel like I have to like. I feel like that's something I need to put out next week is like about the corrosion on the wheels, just to like a heads up to everybody. And I know there's going to be people that are going to hate on it. I know there's going to be that hate there, and there's going to be people that are like, oh, you can just clean them and all that, whatever. But the issue I'm running into is how, I mean, the cost. Like, I can clean it. I can get the corrosion off it, hopefully. But then, like, I was told they're going to be pitted. So if I actually end up just taking the wheels off, taking the tires off, getting them relaced with different nipples, with black spokes, getting all trued up, the cost of it is going to be ridiculous. So if I can find a wheel that is a mag, because like that's another problem I still face is like potholes and stuff. Those mess up like spoke wheels anyways. So I'd rather prefer to have mag wheels on the bike. But hard, like, I don't know. I don't know where the path leads to. I don't know where it's going to be at. I don't know how to address Harley, and what they do and what the crap they get away with and why they're letting people get away with it. And a dealership. So some people think that Harley dealerships are owned by Harley-Davidson, and some of them are, but some of them are privately, although like it's like a franchise. And I don't understand how even like the dealerships themselves or the franchise, whatever you want to call it, like as a customer, like I mentioned in my video, if I'm going to buy my next bike, they should make sure I buy a Harley. Because eventually I'm probably going to want a bigger bike. I love my Heritage, but there's always that room for improvement. There's always room for something bigger. But how do you sit there and tell me like, hey, it's not covered under warranty, we don't do this, we're not even going to take care of you, as a dealership that I bought the bike from? And it's like, yeah, I can make people butthurt by saying this, but I don't give a shit. Like the damage is already done. And even as a private dealership, they're not taking care of the customer. Like, I bought my bike from you. Like, why won't you help me out? Why don't we be like, hey man, like that shouldn't be happening, we'll take care of you. But no, that's not what happens. The way it works is you're just shit out of luck. After they sell you the bike, that's all they care about. It's so hard to sit here and tell people like, go buy a Harley, because I did. I drank that fucking Kool-Aid. I did. I drank that Kool-Aid and was like, go get Harleys. Harley, Harley, Harley. Harley is the way. Harley's the only way. And then slowly it just got chipped away at every stupid thing that Harley did to me. And so it's hard for me to sit here and be like, hey, go buy yourself a Harley. It's the way to go. Without, I don't know. What reasons would you guys have to, like, if you had to buy a Harley, or you had the option to buy a Harley, what reasons would or wouldn't you want to actually buy a Harley Davidson? You know, beside like, because leave out that whole just like the name, the tradition, all that kind of stuff. But like, you take all that away, the name, the tradition, like the whole. They, if you get a motorcycle, it's got to be a Harley. If you take all that away and just go down to the product itself, I'm fucking losing it. But why? Like, that's the thing. It's like break the cycle. Honestly, sold my soul to Harley, and that's so. When Ripper said I sold my soul to Harley, and they own me, I'm like, that's the terrible thing to hear. I would love to see, like, I would love to get an email tomorrow from Indian being like, "Hey, we'll buy your bike from you, we'll pay it off, and here's an Indian, go ride it." That's a weird email to get. But yeah, I need to find wheels for my bike. I definitely do. So if anyone knows where wheels, like a brand of wheels, that's good. That's where you sit though, man. Like you gotta figure out which one's gonna benefit. And Harley's just been lacking lately. I will say right now, a 1 year old Indian looks a lot better than my Heritage does. But I'm losing. You know, it's like you lose your freaking mind, you lose your shit, you lose trying to find wheels and something for your bike, and especially for like the Heritage. So like Harley offers a set of mag wheels for my bike at $900 a rim in chrome. In chrome at $900 a rim. Like that's the problem. If you're Harley Davidson, like, and they didn't bring those wheels out till a year after I got my bike. Otherwise, I would have gotten mags on my bike. It's difficult though. As someone just going, so Sacrificial Rook says, as someone just coming into the market, there's not a lot for me there that I can get better and cheaper somewhere elsewhere, even used. Now, are you saying that for like new Harleys or Harley Davidson itself? Like saying that there's other things you can get for versus Harley? I mean, honestly, you get an older Harley, you're gonna be it's a good deal. Also, if you are watching this right now, hit that like button. I have 0 likes on this video. Hit it. You know, they do because those Rogue Glide special wheels are mean. I like there's the Mantis wheels, which are on the street the Sport Glide. I thought were really cool, but there's a couple other wheels they brought out for like the Fat Bobs and all that. But it's a 16x3 wheel, and then you just got to get the install kit for it. But I would love to find wheels for my bike. Just so I don't have to worry about that corrosion issue. I don't have to worry about that whole bending a spoke or damaging the spokes because there's a lot of danger to spoked wheels. They can blow out and you get a lot of problems you can be stuck with. One added benefit of spoked wheels is actually the tubes in them, though. You know, you can just carry a tube, so if you get a nail in it, you can just stick a new tube on the bike. It doesn't really matter. So there's upsides and downsides, but there's mainly more downsides than there are upsides. Thank you. Patrick liked. Now get the rest of them to do it. Do it. Like button. I'm never happy. But yeah, that's where I run into issues, you know? And oh well, but fucking Prairie Boy snuck in there. Yeah, that's BS. Also, everyone say happy birthday to Prairie Boy. It was the other night, but still. But yeah, I mean, Harley's just not, they don't take care of the customer, and I feel like there's other, you know, I went to the dealership I did, and I feel like I should have gone to another one that would have actually helped me out better, you know, because I was promised the world and got nothing. Especially when it's like, hey, you know, I bought the bike brand new from you, and you guys have nothing to do to help, to be like, hey, we can help you out with this. And that was a year ago. Like, this corrosion issue started on my Heritage a year after I got it. A year. And now it's still an issue 2 years later. So I really wish that they would do something about it, but I don't think they will. I don't drink Kool-Aid, I drink shots. Yeah, the Harley Kool-Aid's gonna be the death of people, honestly. And I mean, really, I saw it with. Let me find the comment that was on my. Let's actually go read the comment from Harley Camper. Yeah, I mean, so whenever it says I can't disagree with on how Harley-Davidson treats their customers, I don't get how they get away with that. But yeah, so Harley Camper is a very upstanding person, and he's probably gonna make it in my next thank you video. Says, duh, clean the spokes, dumbass. People take care of their bikes. That's why they're so clean. Or that's why the is so clean. Also, you should have waited and bought it used. Okay, let's break that down real quick, okay? A, you can find these things. It's easy to say you should have bought something new, used, waited and bought it used 2 years ago. Now, it's easy to say that. And two, it's like, clean my spokes. Like, I don't think people understand what that entails to clean the spokes on a bike. It's not just like, hey, you know, I can just go wipe down my mag wheels or I can spray them off with a hose. It's I've got to freaking go through all these steps to get them looking halfway decent, you know? And even then, if something has a corrosion issue once something has a corrosion issue, it's going to keep doing it. It's not like it's going to stop. Harley isn't great. Everyone that's all about Harley and drink, like I've been to that point. I've been the person that wants to praise Harley all the time, but you know, once I started a YouTube channel, one of my first videos I ever put was like, "Are you listening, Harley?" And then about the live wire. I mean, it's a list of stuff that they could be doing, but they don't. Like Harley just does stuff that's dumb. But yeah, Harley will do you dirty. Harley will bend you over a barrel affectionately. Yeah. It needs to change, you know? And that's the problem too, is like you can spend all that time cleaning, you hit one bad pothole, bend a spoke, and then that whole rim is done. Well, yeah. So Winter says that's exactly what I fear when I debate getting something brand new. One hand, it's freaking new. On the other hand, it's freaking expensive. So it is new. It is expensive. What? How? Oh, that's how I clean mine. So Dwayne Sapp said the good way to clean. That's a good tip. Clean your spoked wheels with a shoelace. But yeah, I mean, getting something new, it's expensive, but also you shouldn't have to worry about it. Like if a bike is brand new, and I consider a bike until it's like 3, 4 years old, still in its new phase. Like another issue I have with my Heritage is the freaking dash fogging up. There's just issues. I mean, there's stuff that Harley could fix, but whether they'll do it or not is the question. I have seen some people actually though take some LEDs and turn them into something different though, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I need to find wheels for the bike, and then I mean, so it's like someone's like, "Well, you can get different wheels for the bike," and I'm like, "Well, the problem is when you get different wheels, you got to get different tires, and I like to have the fatter tires on the front and back. It's a wider tire because I got the a Heritage, so it's got the bigger tires. But it's painful, man. It's difficult. Just don't let Harley fuck you over. I will say that. Hey, whatever. So no, I'm desperately searching for wheels. I don't know what I'm gonna find. Ugh. Dude, I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning. It's been a long, cold day. Oh, fish. Ugh. It's one of those days. But yeah, so for those that are still watching or may have rotated, yeah, I was gonna say I'm getting off, guys. Though I know I normally like to keep this to about an hour, but we got no good conversation. I started asking questions and started having a great conversation. But I'm going to eat dinner. I appreciate everyone coming out and having this chat. And feel free to comment more on the video and anything that comes to your head. If anyone does find a place for Harley wheels, let me know because I need new wheels. It's bad. But for now, that's all I got. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Thumbs up button. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Well, on my screen, it's right there. Maybe it's down there. I don't know what for you guys is that. And as always, I hope you have a great day, evening, night, morning, afternoon tea, brunch, lunch, nightcap, midnight snack, crumpet, McGriddle, bacon sandwich. And remember to always ride for freedom. I hope you guys all have a great night. Peace out.